I'm
Rawr.
angry about pets.
When did we all get this dumb? Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. I don't see any bodies, so it doesn't count.
I'm angry about pets.
I'm the chef. I want to hear one thing. Yes, chef. Come on, man. Use your brain. The Why I'm Angry podcast starts now. All right, it's the Why I'm Angry podcast. This is the chef here in the Freestyle Man Cave studio. Remember, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, 2 pages on YouTube. And, get some merch, get to our website at whyimangry.com. Here in the studio, it's just me, but I brought in the OG crew. The OG crew. Honest Abe and Gangster J Boots. So fellas, how's life on the outside? Out of the man cave basement studio.
Besides being terrorized by, this cricket, I think we're all right.
We forgot to introduce Jiminy Cricket here. He's, slowly dying a death of
Hopefully,
sprayed bug spray.
hopefully, quick death. But I
Quick
feel like
death.
he's getting stronger now. He's coming back stronger.
Yeah, he's breathed in all he's like it's like pepper spraying him. Honest Dave was out there, getting him through the pepper spray deal, and now he's like, "Yeah, I'm coming back."
You've activated his gene mutation, and now he's
not quite dead.
Superhero.
Yeah, he's got the special serum now, right?
Yeah,
I'm not dead yet. I'm feeling better.
I could go for a walk.
I could go for a walk.
I feel happy.
Man. So yeah, that's what's going on. Hitting the headlines, there were a few big ones. Attorney General Merrick Garland testified at the House Judiciary Committee yesterday, spending much of his day answering questions related to the Justice Department's investigation into Joe Biden's son, Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, Republicans have accused Garland of slow playing the case against the younger Biden, who has been recently indicted on felony accounts for lying on forms, which we talked about in the last couple weeks. I mean, in all honesty, do you guys think that there's actually going to be something done?
First off, I like what you did there. In the all honesty,
In all honesty, Honest Dave.
but no, it's if something was going to be done, you'd think it'd be done a year and a half ago, right? Or 2 years ago, whenever the first accusations and everything else came up originally with all the stuff that was going on and all the speculation, correct? Now this is a little bit different. They're talking about him lying, which you don't say. You don't say.
Right. I like that the main narrative is that the Republicans have brought a fake dossier from Russia or Ukraine, I mean, and that all of the like I know that I think I've said this on this deal, but doesn't that sound familiar? A fake Russian dossier bringing up allegations, except for the saddest thing is most of this stuff has been credibly seen as true facts. This dossier from Russia or Ukraine is pretty much factual.
You can't pick and choose what are facts.
What? Are you sure? That's not what they've been telling me for the last 8 or 10 years.
But I think Jay's on to something because obviously being sarcastic, but
Yeah,
or maybe totally serious. I don't know.
both.
We'll
Sadly,
let
a
you
little
decide.
both.
Um,
Sadly.
Nobody knows what to think now or believe or whatever because everything's twisted and loaded from one side or the other, so everybody's like, oh no, the right side just made that up or the left side just made that up or nobody, like, do you honestly know what credible evidence actually looks like anymore, because we don't even know if the evidence is made up or false, or and
Right.
especially with all the AI stuff coming
Yeah.
out now. I
Right.
mean, they're doing voiceovers and stuff for people, and if you weren't smart enough to know right away,
Right.
or somebody didn't put a disclaimer, you wouldn't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
That's true.
That's a good point.
scary.
100%. Yeah, I mean that, and we've talked about it. Like, it doesn't take anything to do it. Somebody spoofed or broke into Donnie Jr.'s Twitter account and pronounced Donald Trump dead yesterday or the
Oh.
day before, one of the days. And and then said he was running in 2024.
See, that's how you know
It
well, it
was a
was a
fake.
lie.
Yeah.
Are,
I feel like Donnie Jr. is at least smart enough to know that he's not gonna. He does not want to run. He's seen
Right.
seen it all. He's no, we're not doing this. This
You
is not.
think that, but then again, yeah, I don't know. Add insult to injury. It's like I wouldn't run again if I was Donald Trump, but I think he's also one of those people that, like, I don't think he likes to lose. So
Yeah.
regardless of which way, or lose, regardless
Right.
of which way you look at it, you're there. I mean, he might be like, well, I'm gonna prove that the whole Trump family isn't crazy or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I could honestly see Ivanka running. She seems like
I don't think she can legally run, though, can she?
she's a American
How long
citizen.
has she been a U.S. citizen?
Ivanka is his daughter.
Born here.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of his wife. My bad.
His
My
wife
bad.
can't run. No, she's a Russian. She was a
All these
Russian
names,
citizen.
all the Russian names always get me confused.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I could see his daughter running and like right like actually maybe making a deal of it because she seems like the most intelligent or at least the most like Trump type.
Cordial.
Yeah, she seems the most relatable. She's got, she's a woman, so she ticks the box for the you
Most
know,
relatable. She's a woman.
she's a
You relate to
woman.
the
Well,
the
that's
female side of
the
things.
LGBT types, the lady types, they relate to that. She's not
The
going to
lady.
have as many sex scandals and things probably. Yeah, you never know. I mean, you never know. But on the sexist level of things, normally they don't bring quite as. I mean, you didn't see Hillary with a sex scandal,
How could she?
but
She was overshadowed by one of the biggest of all time in history.
well,
Speculative.
speculate. Yeah, it's just alleged largest. I mean,
Hearsay,
alleged.
allegedly. Ought to not have sexual
Oh,
relations with that woman.
oh, let's not stand on ceremony now.
I mean, we
I don't
we
know.
we continue to do it, so might as well.
Right, right. You know, here's a question for you. All right, this would be an interesting sidewinder to this topic, right? Since you went down the female route and how
Yeah,
she was more relatable. Okay.
affirmative action. She's part of the affirmative
There it
action
is.
group.
Yeah,
Affirmative
there it
action.
is.
Yeah, she's half Russian. She's a woman.
I
Lives in
like
a
where this is
So,
going. Sign me up.
yeah, this. I mean, we're probably gonna, if we haven't killed all chance of it in previous episodes, we might find some redemption here with the female audience, right?
That's right.
So
I mean, we've already been kicked out of Canada, probably. So,
That's on me.
yeah,
for our hate speech. Might as well
no,
alienate more of our listenership
no, we're not
by
alienating anything. We're
well
on the road to redemption, mate.
we're on the road to redemption here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you were to pick a potential female candidate, okay,
Yeah.
let's make this someone that's more known or popular to the general public.
Okay.
Who would you like to see?
Jay
I can
Booth.
see Russia from my house.
I so I like
Are we
Michael
listening to
Huck
cricket?
my I like Sarah Huckabee, or whatever her middle last name is. I think it's Sanderson or whatever her middle last name. I like her. I think she's quick, and she's kind of the mix of Sarah Palin and you know, somebody extremely intelligent. Um, let that sink in. You'll get that on the way home.
Yep.
Um, so I think that she, like, when she ran the White House press corps for Trump, it was a good day. It was a good time. She was quick. She knew what she was talking about. She didn't have to have, a written out speech to actually conversate with people, which is nice. She probably hasn't had any strokes. She's not super old, and she's actually a governor, so she knows she she's in the executive branch. She's not trying to make laws right now,
But is
so that'd be
she
cool.
enormously wealthy?
Um, I think she is fairly wealthy. But I also think she may be too intelligent to run for president, knowing that it's just a waste of your money, time, and effort,
Mm-hmm.
and your good name.
So yeah, you brought up a good point though about the wealthy aspect of things because do you think that would be more of a deterrent if they're overly wealthy, or do you think that that would help them in the potential to not be swayed by an extra dollar sign or an extra comma or something from the wrong people? Get what I'm saying?
I mean, you would think it would be a deterrent. I mean, Biden has millions of dollars from years and years of being a politician. But I mean, I gotta think of like the nice way to say what he's been. Um, but
Jay's reaction said it all.
yeah, yeah, So you would think that that would be a deterrent, is having millions of dollars, but obviously, having generational wealth is not a deterrent, and you can get into some of those deals. It was funny. I did see a little clip. I don't know who it was that was saying it. I just actually happened to see it. It was on. I think I saw it over the shoulder of my wife while she was watching, like, I don't know, Instagram reels or something like that, and it was, is this the NBA or NFL? And it was like there were 7 people with,
Oh, I know what clip you're talking
yeah,
about.
7
Yeah, the
people
felony
with,
charges.
charges.
Oh,
They had
yeah,
drugs in this, and like 35 of them can't get credit cards. 88 of them can't get a loan. And it
yeah,
was like, he's like, well, you would think that that might be the NBA or the NFL. You could kind of go back and forth, but that's Congress.
yeah,
That's part
yeah.
of the 480 people in Congress. And
Right.
it's like, here's the deal. If there are certain things that you can't do, your people should be smart enough to know that and vote you out. So part of it is like Peyton's argument with, those people made their country terrible, and so they shouldn't be allowed in our country. to make our country terrible, that's part of the argument here. Is if your state legislature is terrible, who do you got to whine about except for about yourself? I mean, now we can argue about whether voting is copacetic, whether it's, the Dominion machines do this, that, or whatever. But Biden came in the 70s, maybe even the 60s. I don't know. He could be old enough to have come in the late 50s. We know he was fighting in World War II. Um,
Well, made me spit the water
uh,
out there.
but anyhow, a lot of these people were voted in back, like, when the dinosaurs were alive. And so back then, you can pretty much say that there wasn't a ton of I mean, there was no like electronic voting and stuff, so there wasn't a lot you could manipulate. You couldn't manipulate a Dominion machine and say, here's the deal. We've got, now. I mean, they tried to with the hanging chads and stuff during the whole Al Gore Bush thing.
Chad. What was it,
It's
Chad?
sad that we don't talk about Al Gore more. I mean, after inventing the internet and global warming, you would think this guy should at least be like household name and talked to about all the time. But so that's kind of my thought on it is really on this whole old, getting these people. You did it to yourself. I mean, all these people who put AOC in, do you care? I mean, if you don't care, then fine, cool. We just, I don't know,
But it's funny. It's funny because do you think people just? Well, I'm not even going to ask that question because I feel like I kind of have an opinion on it. Well, I know I have an opinion. Everybody has opinions about everything,
just
right?
ask the question.
Um,
Ask the question.
no, my statement was going to be, or my question was going to be that I think a lot of people fixate on maybe two things on the whole list of what that politician might stand for, and they're like, well, those are two of the most important topics for me, or issues for me.
Right.
So they just go ahead and, well, I'm voting for them, or somebody just tells them, hey, you need to vote Democrat, or you need to vote Republican, or you need to do this or that or whatever, without doing the research. And that was something that has obviously been an issue over the last, 10, 20 years. Well, I would say more of an issue the last 10 to 15 years. Um, because even traditionally speaking, back in, less social media, more debates, and the paper ballots and that sort of thing. Um, when it wasn't in your face so much, all these other issues and all these other topics, you really had to listen to the debates to get your information, or the news in that
Right.
sense to get your information. Um, but traditionally speaking, if you're a union, you vote for the pro-union person. If you're, you know what I mean? Like, there, a lot of that
True.
stuff was
And
always, well, if you're Democrat, you vote for Democrat regardless of who it is. Where now, so we're seeing a lot of people that, well, I stand for this, but I also stand for this, and I'm against this over here, but you know what I mean? So I think the real question now is how many people do you think actually do the full research instead of just voting for those couple topics? Because you end up with people, to go back to the whole Canadian thing, you end up with a nation that's voted Trudeau back into office year and year and year after year. And then, I've got a lot of friends in Ontario, and, when I go up and visit them, or over, I should say now, when I go over to
right.
Ontario now and visit them, um, I feel like everybody that I talk to, or most of the people over there, complain about Trudeau, It's like, well, y'all
Right.
keep voting him back in office, you know. But it's
Right.
like, it's that's my question is, if you don't want a certain type of person, or to go back to like AOC and stuff, it's like, well, they put her in charge,
Right.
so I don't know what you expect at that point.
Yeah, and that honestly is part of it, is like, you know, we yeah, I just,
Lack of research, lack of
yeah, that's it. It's honestly that over the last 20 years or so, that the media has pumped a set of talking points that's not, no longer is Fox News fair and and balanced. It's, it's fair and unbalanced, and so is ABC, and so is NBC and CBS, and
Mm-hmm.
they get,
Yep.
the unfortunately for conservatives or libertarians or people who just want our country to be free, the Democratic Party has put out talking points, and they've done a better job of putting out those talking points and indoctrinating people into those talking points. And
Mm-hmm.
look for these words. Now we're
Yep.
going to say this. Now
yeah.
we're going to say that. And I don't think people really do research anymore. They think they're doing all this research, but because they're going to the same spot every time,
Yeah.
they're just being indoctrinated, and they're just
Yeah.
crying those talking points. And like you said, you know, we then it makes it easy for a Democrat to say, "Look, I'm a Democrat. I run these talking points."
Yeah.
So here's a question then to add to that. A lot of the politicians that are still in office now obviously have been in office for a while. We
Yep,
got people that have been in there for 30, 40, couple or 50 years, Um,
that's World War II. Some of them.
well, that was more than 50 years. but yeah, I mean, we talked about it a few weeks ago. You got somebody in the office that's what, 80 something, 89 or something now?
92.
Wow.
92, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Feinstein is
Feinstein.
92.
Yeah.
So I don't know when they first got in office, but obviously that
World War
era,
II.
World War II, just about. but but to go back to that subject of, well, before it was certain news and certain uh, paper ballots and limited information, and you had to trust the news or the media. You had to trust that side of it. You didn't have social media or the internet to debunk or this or that. And these are people that have been in office for, like I said, better part of 50 years or more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is that a result to lack of information then, or and some of them are not so great of politicians. So
I
I guess
think.
it's maybe two-sided, right? Like it's a
Right.
double-edged sword, maybe.
Jay
Too
Boots,
much
what do you got to
information.
say?
I was just saying that, do you think it's and I'll end it with
Yeah.
this. Do you think it's that double-edged sword where, like, you have a result of not enough information, then you also can have the same result of too much information and not knowing what information is correct?
Jay Boots,
What's that?
what do you think?
I really love this quote from, and I don't know if I heard it from Denzel Washington. He said, "If you watch the news, you're misinformed. If you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. Period."
No, I like that.
So,
That's pretty good.
um, it obviously this is a slippery slope that we're all on, but we're all here. We're all in this country, and we all have to be somewhat of concerned citizens, right? I mean, and we show it at the poll, right? We're supposed to go to the poll and vote.
Do our part.
do
Yeah.
our part. You know, I would love term limits for senators and congressmen, mostly
It's
the
hard to
congressmen.
find term limits or get term limits when you are putting a term limit on yourself. I mean, that's like
That's why
human.
Right.
Congress votes themselves raise every year. Congress votes themselves
Right.
raises, and why would you not?
I mean, if you've
Yeah. I
got
mean,
the
if you're in
ability,
charge and you're voting on it, you know, there doesn't have to be a,
But that's out of control.
there doesn't have to be this or that, you know, this side or that side of things for that one. You know, everybody wants to get paid
right.
more, right?
That's right.
Where is America held accountable on the debt ceiling? Where? I mean, I understand that we're owned by this country and we're owned by that country, and this country owns this part of us and this country owns this other part of us. But where is the responsibility on Congress to pay back any of our national debt and not just keep printing useless paper?
Well, I think that's
So
probably some of the problem we're running into now with all the debt ceiling just going higher and higher, and or I don't know if that's the right word to use, so to speak, but
yeah,
um,
it's frustrating for me because I'm held to a budget. I'm held to a X amount of finances, and you know, there's always these side hustles, and you can always make extra cash. I'm not complaining about door dashing or whatever. My thing is like, hey, like fiscally, are you responsible? What kind of criteria do we get into when we even before we even elect someone into an office like that? Like, are they fiscal responsible?
I mean, I would agree with that because it's one of those things that, like, I mean, even my line of work and so forth, it, we're still held responsible for us going over budgets and so forth, even on our side of things, you know. And if there's no kind of, no kind of, um, I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is. Um,
well, there's no aptitude tests.
well, there's no kind. What I was looking for is there's no kind of punishment for going over budget. You
Oh,
know, it's
yeah,
not.
no accountability
You know,
for it.
it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, there's no penalty or anything for going over budget, but the sad part about it is, we talk about side hustles and all this. You mentioned it. I don't know about you. I've worked 60, 70, 80. I've worked over 100 hours in a week before, and I do not want to do that. you
right,
know, and the amount of hours that we put in every day just to survive, or put in every week just to survive, is not something that I want to increase. You look at some of the other countries where people are living life and enjoying it, and they're
Yeah,
averaging 35 to 40 hours a week, and this and that, and it's like, where did that go to the point to where everybody expects 60, 70 hours is the norm, just to survive, and
right.
I have a good job, well, I had a good job. I have a good job. No, I have a good job and I have
I'm
a good
currently
career
figuring
that
out what.
I've worked my butt off to get to this point. But
where
yeah,
do
if you
we?
want
Yeah,
nicer stuff, you got to work harder for it and more
Right.
for it. Unless you get into a totally different demographic of it, but some of us don't have that
yeah,
opportunity at this point to just flip a switch and say, okay, I'm
yeah,
doing this. You know,
yeah. I mean,
Right.
term limits are a good idea, and term limits are a good thing to talk about and keep talking about. But I also think that we should be talking about why are these guys even getting in there? Like, should there be criteria before you're even put into an office? Like, should there be some sort of vetting process, or Aaron's
you think there would be.
chef said aptitude test? Um,
Well, and
so it's like,
the problem with that is we wanted a free society where anyone could be elected, where anyone could become whoever they wanted to. But at the same point, if the rest of the system is broken, then that's going to be broken too. Like AOC has a poli sci degree, in geopolitics somehow, was waiting bar
Mm-hmm.
and somehow was elected. I mean, obviously was elected because of a Democratic um, following or backing, and then she, and then you go and you look at what her like credentials are. She's never had a job other than that. She's never run a business. She's never owned land or property. She,
Right.
she's barely living the American dream, let alone, I mean, other than now she's a congressperson and has, and now could serve for 60, 70,
Yeah.
maybe 80 years. I mean, with no
Right.
term limits. I mean, we could
Yeah.
be, I could be gone and she could still have 20 more years on her.
Yeah.
And if I could mention the Roman Empire just briefly, because that is trending on TikTok this week. But no, the Roman Empire had their system set up to where, and we kind of had something similar back in the day. The Romans, the plebeians, it was a system of the wealthy people actually kind of elected the senators and the counselors of Rome to those positions, and the working class didn't even have an option.
A vote or a say at all.
Correct. They didn't have a
I
vote.
wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like it's getting to be. I feel like it's getting to be more or less that trend.
Yeah.
It's scary to see because even the what was passed back in March that they were talking about credit scores and everything and about interest rates and so forth. If you're well, if you're if you have a good credit score and you're and so forth, you're
Mm-hmm.
actually looking at higher fees and credit or interest rates
Yeah.
than if you were a less qualified. You know,
Chef.
yeah, and yeah, but I'm just saying, if you were a less qualified, individual, so which is it seems like totally backwards from what it should be, and it's like, so
It
what do
is.
you if we're flip
Yeah.
flopping everything now, and we're getting to that point to where now only the rich people start to have a say or have a bigger say, you know, um, that's it's going to be real scary. It's going to be real scary to
Yeah.
see
I
what the
mean,
kind of goes, and can't not be concerned about that if you're in the middle class.
landowners. I mean, if you owned land, you could vote. If you didn't own land, you didn't have a say. And the
Right.
Romans had that very similar concept with the wealth, the way they put their wealthy up on pedestals. But
And
yeah, I mean, it's like, should we go back to that, or do we just continue to let everyone vote, or should you have an IQ test to be able to vote? Like, take this.
I think the problem is we've gotten lazy as people. We're not. It's not the fact that you should own land or you shouldn't or what. Anyone can get on Google and search out what's going on.
Yeah,
As long as you go to more than one side, and that's what we've always said is don't listen to us. I mean, listen to us obviously because
oh,
we need your
please,
advertising dollars,
yeah,
but
yes,
don't
please,
don't just listen to us. If
yeah,
there's something we said that you think, oh no, that can't be right, then go find that it's not right. Let us know it's not right. Get angry and yell about it. Do whatever you want, but
Why are
you
you
know,
angry?
but but get on the education side of things and start like actually looking for yourself and seeing that there's two sides to all of this.
right.
And it's not Democrat and Republican. There's two sides to this argument. There is
Well,
a this and a that.
Right.
I
And
think that ties into all of that too. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to
what's that?
cut you
I'm
off.
sorry. I didn't get to hear that last part.
No, I was just saying. I think that ties into everything.
Yeah.
I didn't. Go ahead and finish your thought
No,
there.
no, that's it is that that the country although our system is set up for two sides, a two-party system, even Washington said it really shouldn't there shouldn't be parties. He literally wanted the best candidates to be able to walk on, and that's why they don't have the term limits. They don't have the setups like the aptitude tests and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because people who educated themselves and went and got themselves through school, kind of like Abraham Lincoln, kind of like you know Jefferson and some of those guys, Edison, some of those guys that, you know, got themselves through school and didn't have as big a name until they went and actually, started campaigning. That's what he wanted for the country. That's what they
Hmm.
wanted for the country, is that, you didn't have a big conglomerate behind you, backing you, putting millions and billions of dollars into that's why, honestly, Trump won on a super American stand, because he basically took his own money, stood on it, got some following, and then obviously the Republican Party rallied behind him, but kind of, a little, but porquito, um but he honestly made that stump and went on, you know That's where, guys like Grover Cleveland, who that no one had ever heard of,
Right.
got on a train, stopped
Yep.
in each place, made a speech, and all of a sudden now he's a dark horse candidate to win the presidency, and wins.
Yeah.
You know, a little
Hmm.
education in the show, but that's where we've lost it. Is now we have these giant corporations, basically,
Yep.
the Republican funeral and the Democrat funeral, because there definitely ain't parties anymore. Nothing's fun about that. But they've got billions of dollars backing them.
Well, I think to go back to it, I think what a lot of this has turned into in the last 10 years is division. You know,
It has.
all it's done is divide. That, and it's kind of like my original question about too much information or not enough information, and which one is the greater evil here. Um, because now everybody's flooded with so much information that you never know um, what's going to impact people more, and so forth, along with the subject of creating division. So you got a couple hot topics like you were saying, for one
Right.
party. Well, really, there's a couple hot topics total between the parties. And so now everybody's like, well, if you're Democratic, you believe this, and you're on this side of the spectrum. But it never used to be that way, where, yeah, there was stereotypes between the parties, but it was not to the extent of where people can't sit down and have a family dinner. It was not to where
Right.
people are, well, I'm no longer your friend because you believe this or that or whatever. And I feel like
I mean,
it's obviously
I don't remember the
overloaded.
time, but there was a time back during the Civil War that was the case.
That's a little bit different scenario here, but I mean, I guess it's not too far from the truth now. but
But if you want to change, your country the way that people want to change their country, that's the kind of division you have to, you want to etch your country into something different, and the only way to do that, because unfortunately, no, like, we as whatever we are, conservatives, whatever, um you know
American.
libertarians, Americans, yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't realize that there's still there's still more of us than there are of them, and
But
so
what's
they
us and
realize,
them? See, that's the
and
division that
that's
was
it,
created
and that's
regardless.
what's sad about it, is they want to separate the country out.
Right.
They ought
Well, and there's always been a little bit of
ultimately
that. That's why they put two parties, and this
right.
and that, and so so I get it to some extent because you have to have, everybody likes to do that, to where you get the devil's advocate, right? Like you have
Right.
like I'll do this sometimes just out of random, like as a an example, I'll do it sometimes. I'll be talking to Haley and we'll be talking about some random subject, and I'll be like, well, yeah, but what about this? And
Right.
I'll throw I'll throw that curveball and just spice things up with the conversation a little bit. And she's like, "Are you serious right now?" And
Right.
but you have to have two sides of things. Otherwise, I don't think you
True.
truly understand that whole thing in its entirety. At the
Well,
same time, I think it's scary that it's gotten to the extremes of what it has gotten to now. And like you said, it's going to take something extreme
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
completely recourse unfortunately recourse the direction that we're on, and headed down right now.
Our
and that
founding fathers knew going into the revolution, our founding fathers knew that they would probably have to lay their life down.
yeah. And that's going into that, that's you know and I'm not saying it's a bunch of people, but there is an overwhelming sense that there is a system inside the system that is looking to create a fissure.
Yeah.
Working to break things apart,
Yep.
working to create a eastern states versus western states versus central states type
North
thing.
versus south.
Now we've got the ununited states of America. And
Oh yeah.
so I think that that's the one thing that other than becoming the one world order, and all hailing from China or Russia or the
NWO.
yeah, the UN, um the WHO. We that's the one that's where we're at, is if we can't, if maybe that's the big conspiracy, is that we can't govern ourselves anymore, because there's so much division in the country and stuff like that, that all countries are no longer governed by themselves. They're governed by a United Nations type deal.
Switzerland.
Yeah. Switzerland, the
Is that
most separate but powerful country in the world.
right?
Is
And
that where I
it
go to hide my taxes?
Yes.
one of them. One of them.
One of one of them. Okay.
It depends on whether you like the hot or the cold.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Are you for the chocolate cocoa or the other type of cocoa?
If you like it warm, go to the Congo. Hide it in diamonds, tanzanite, tungsten, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not. Oh, we're just hiding our tech. That's right. That's right.
Oh, oh,
We're not buying.
that's another
Offshore
subject. Remember? Yeah.
Oh my
shell
gosh.
companies.
We're not. Yeah.
I think to take it back to kind of bring it back around a little bit. I think it's sad that everything is so he said she said and so heavy handed on this side or that side or whatever, to the
Right.
point to where they will brush stuff under a rug, um, involving. Hey, I'm bringing it home, okay?
No, he's brushing things under the rug.
I'm brushing.
Oh, you're brushing things. I thought you were like, all right, come
This is
on,
wrap
come
it
on.
up. This is wrap it up.
Okay.
This is brushing.
But to wrap it up here. No, I think it's sad that it's gotten so heavy handed to where we're gonna brush stuff under a rug just to save a little bit of face, to where
Right.
we don't want to look bad and we don't want to bring a black eye on our party or the people involved, to where we'll brush stuff on a rug, and it's not one side or the other side that's doing it more than the other. But currently, right now, what we're seeing back with the Biden son, um, um,
Biden's son.
we're just gonna
Kind of
call
like
him the Biden.
Sanford and Son.
Yeah. But having his whole case that's been a year and a half plus
Yeah.
of this and that and everything else going back and forth on, and it's like how much is going to be brushed under the rug. The same thing with the Epstein stuff. That you know what I mean? Like
Do
there's a
do
laundry
you
list
think
of
this
issues
is
that have just kind of fallen by the wayside and gone gray, right?
right? Do you think this is really brushed under the rug to save face, or brushed under the rug to save their humanity, skin, their own skin? Is it? I mean, is it just to save the face? Is this really like we're saving the country from the like? I feel like the Kennedy assassination might have been brushed under the rug to save face. I mean, since we're going through the history this week, but and the whole like Watergate trial and the whole amnesty there and stuff like that, that was all kind of, we brushed it away. We said, okay, we're good with that. We obviously didn't decide to do that with the whole Trump allegations, but I mean, let's set precedent where precedent needs to be set, I guess. Um,
President or
but
precedent?
pre- both. We're gonna
That
we're
one.
gonna set them both where they need
One
to
in the
be.
one in the
One's one is no longer going to be able to go to Florida, and one is we're just who cares who it is. We're gonna indict them. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like this is a little different than just there was a scandal and we just kind of shoot it away type deal. This is more like a mob family trying to save skin.
Right.
That's a good way of saying it.
I think there's so many layers to all this stuff that they don't want to peel back every single layer, because there might be some stuff really deep, buried deep down inside there that if it came out, who knows what would happen? Who
Are
knows what the end result would be? Maybe.
are
Good.
you
To,
saying that are you saying that Hunter might be so ugly that he might be Shrek?
I'm saying, but I'm not saying, but I'm
I'm
also possibly
saying,
saying.
but I'm not.
No, I just I
Hunt.
just think there's a lot more to everything that we're not seeing, but it
Yeah.
also is not a good look. It's
No,
really
it
not a
isn't.
good look.
And I wish I believed that it was to save face for the country. I wish it was
I just
like
threw that out there. That was a nice way of saying,
I know,
you
but
know,
I wish though that it was like Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, since he is president, I'll give him the respect that his positions due. President Joe Biden is I wish that he was like, okay, well, my son will never see the light of day, or he won't be out in public anymore, or he won't be embezzling money, or selling paintings for secrets or anything like that anymore, and you just won't see him in the news ever again. Kind of
right.
like Teddy
But
Kennedy or
it's
something.
it's just drug along to where like I'm one of those people. I want to see results, regardless
Right.
of whether I agree with it or I
Good, bad,
don't.
or indifferent. Like if
Right.
Trump, like we've said from the beginning, if Trump is guilty of any, anything,
Malfeasance.
yeah, I mean Rico seems like a stretch, but anything, then then let's chop his arm off or something, you know.
We can do
But
that.
Whoa.
whatever the
Going back to the
punishment for the
Roman
crime
times.
is, back back to the Congo, it's chopping day, you know. Um,
Yeah,
but
I think most of America just wants to see results, right? I would
right,
I would I would say a lot of people like I want to see a result to this, whether I agree with whether I would agree with the punishment or not, what happened?
Right.
Like whatever happened to the Epstein case? Whatever happened? Like I feel like there's so many layers and so much of a gray area with all of this stuff that like I'm gonna be murdered now. Or I mean, sorry, I'm gonna hang myself now.
You're now on the Clinton death list.
Wait, hold on. Still
He feels healthy.
Wait,
He
wait.
feels fine.
healthy,
He's normal.
mentally. I'm strong. I'm
Mentally, he's
solid.
solid.
But no, regardless of whether it's good or bad, or like you said,
Right.
I'm indifferent about
Let's see.
what the result ends up being because it's not like not that I don't care about it, but at this point, I'm like, let's see something. Let's see
Facts.
something finalized with it, and like, because there's all this stuff and evidence that has been pushed out or alleged evidence that has been pushed out. How do we? How do we just brush it under the rug and nothing ever happened with it? It's the whole thing with the laptop. It's the whole thing with all the stuff with that case. It's like
Yeah, but did the American people get a resolution to Watergate or JFK or, I mean, did we get a resolution
well,
to that, or was that all just swept under the rug?
we got
I
movies and
mean,
documentaries.
we've gotten a resolution since maybe with some unredacted files and some things like that where we have a pretty good idea. I just don't think with some of this stuff we'll ever have that. I mean, like
Maybe in 30 years, some stuff is
beside
declassified, and all of a sudden,
beside the
Hunter Biden was a cokehead, and this and that. And
well, we know
he
he
loved
was. He had
strippers in
pictures of
America,
him
and
snorting
Yeah,
coke off the back end of a stripper.
yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean, and those are authenticated pictures
Strippers.
before the AI thing went crazy.
authenticated.
That was back like 2018 when
Yeah.
those started coming out. But I mean,
Does it have
A-
a authorized
AI,
hologram on the sticker? or on
yes, it's Beckett authenticate. I authenticated it myself.
oh,
back
oh, okay.
back when I worked for the mothership.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that concludes today's episode.
that's right.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
we're
out.
all on the hit list now. But so
So
yeah,
what
no,
else you
it's yeah. Well, asteroid sample return. So the NASA is poised to make a historical delivery this weekend of the biggest sample of rocks and dust from an asteroid after a 7-year mission in space. So the OSIRIS-REx spacecraft will fly by Earth Sunday to drop off a capsule containing the roughly half a pound sample of an asteroid Bennu, near Dugway, Utah. So basically, asteroid is going to drop a bunch of samples. There's going to be a live streaming event because we can't do anything without live streaming anymore. It'll be around 10 a.m. in the morning, and they're just the ship is going by and going to drop like, tuck and roll type thing.
We're just gonna swing by and drop this off from
Yeah,
space.
pretty much.
So, I got a question. I always have the best questions. I feel like.
Yeah, I think
Sometimes
you
off the
do
ball.
come on with a question or two.
So, do we call Aerosmith for this?
Yeah, I think we did already. We called John McClane, and
Yeah.
he drilled a hole, and that's how we got the half a pound.
Oh, so now we have the Aerosmith on cue and ready to go.
Right, they're gonna sing a song on tomorrow about either being on an airplane or something else.
Or coming back again. One of those.
Right.
Well, that'll be interesting, though.
Yeah, it'll be cool. We'll see how that works.
How do you think that they're gonna get I mean, obviously, I have to look into this a little more. I heard briefly about this, but the capsule that is handling nearly half a pound, which is not much at all. I don't, the half a
No,
pound thing.
but it's the largest ever um, set of well, I guess a piece of an asteroid because it's still going. I mean, it's still
Right.
it's not a meteor. It hasn't gone through our stuff yet.
Do you do you think it's lighter because it's from an asteroid, or do you just think half a pound is still what we think here on Earth is half a pound? Like,
Um,
maybe that's a stupid question. I
no,
don't
I
know.
think
Here I am
I
asking
don't
questions.
know. They may have some kind of conversion chart or something. I'm sure it's like I think they said it's roughly half a pound, so it could be like 0.6 or maybe three
It
quarters of a
seems
pound.
like it just seems like not a whole lot to do a whole lot of research.
Right. We just did like probably we spent what 7 years? Yeah, 7 years on a mission, and we got half a pound of an asteroid. Like, send any movie studio up, and you're gonna get like the whole asteroid. Somebody's gonna be attached to it. There's gonna be like some tree
Do you,
guy walking
do you
around
think
or
they sent
something.
politicians up there, and
If they
that's why we
send three
got minimal
politicians,
results?
yeah, that's it. There's not you're going to get half a pound of an asteroid, and you're not even going to believe that it's really an asteroid. It could just be some rocks that they took up there, painted them gold or black, and just said
It's
and came
black
back
sand
and
from
said, "Look,
Iceland.
they're yeah, that's it. They're an asteroid."
It's black sand from Iceland.
If it's
For
if
sure.
it's if it's Chinese, you can probably break it in half. Or you put the little acid on it and it turns green.
Yeah.
You know, you
Someone's not
prob
using 440 steel.
right, right. They did not melt their cobalt to make the
Gosh.
obsidian to make this
If you leave
Rookie.
marks in it
asteroid.
with your teeth.
Right, it is not real.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean they say the craft launched in 2016, arrived at Bennu, which I don't. I mean it's an orbiting asteroid. Orbited the asteroid for 2 years as it took measurements and searched for a landing spot. So it took 2 of the 7 years just to find a spot to park. And then in 2020, the craft grabbed a sample in a touch and go. So it didn't even really actually park. It just like smash and grabbed. Um, and then began its return to Earth. Well, you don't want to throw it off so that it's actually now hurling towards Earth or anything.
Right.
So because we couldn't just let nature be nature, we decided to destroy the world. Great job, guys.
Um, I want to know how you do a touch and go in space. Like that's got to be pretty strategic. Also, I I'm still
So
confused as how you just snag a. Obviously, they didn't do a very good touch and go
one
because you
dude
only
had
snag
his
half.
arm out, kind of like stealing street signs. One dude had his arm out, door was open, snatched it, and then ran,
Somebody said no,
jumped
no,
in a car,
no, and the person said go, go. He thought he said go, go, go.
face plant, grabbed the rocks in his hat. That's all he had left. And
It all makes a lot more sense now.
yeah, now they're gonna sell the spacecraft with all that asteroid dust on the back seat.
Oh,
Yes, good,
cool.
the good old days.
It
Yeah,
all makes a lot more sense now.
they're gonna explore another asteroid next. NASA will launch 2 more asteroid missions this fall. So watch for that on Disney
Maybe we'll do these
Plus.
in 6.5 years.
I just want to know how maybe it'll only take 6.5 years with two. So it'll probably take like 14, 17,
You gotta,
20,
you
22
gotta,
years. We'll be
you
dead.
gotta have lofty. You gotta have lofty goals.
Yeah.
Shoot for the moon
Right. I mean, this is
or
yeah.
the stars. What does it say?
I
Shoot for
mean,
the
this
stars.
is NASA after all. They know what they're doing.
What I still can't understand is how we figured out how to do a touch and go on an asteroid. We can't remember the telemetry for the moon landing, and or even really how
Because
to get back.
everything was kept on paper back then.
It was yeah, that's what it is.
Somebody
That's what
lost the files. The scientist died.
there
You
was
know.
the receipt was lost in the mail.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Somebody taped a Dallas game over the telemetry.
That's what it was.
probably.
That was back in when you had to record. You had to record
I
things
mean,
on an.
Emmitt
I don't even know.
Smith running those touchdowns in for the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
well
that's
worth
better.
it.
Yes, that's better than their crap they made up.
Yep.
Yeah. Who needs this? It's just a bunch of numbers on a paper.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe this is what it was. They had a really poor housekeeping company come in, and
right.
they just started. Oh, this looks like chicken scratch.
This isn't real.
Just
Look at
this all looks like scratch
Mr.
paper.
George.
this video is just a bunch of bunch of people playing
How
around
much you
in
pay
a
for
sand
this,
pile.
George? No good.
Right.
How much you pay for the new guy? $20? No good.
he's a no good.
He's no good.
Russian
All right.
components,
American components.
American components,
All made in
all
Taiwan.
made in Taiwan.
It's been a good episode. It's
Yeah.
been a good episode so far.
Yeah, this is definitely on track to be probably as good as the one that we didn't get out that we solved world peace.
And the world
I
will
forgot
never
about
know.
that. Yeah, we did
That's
lose.
right.
We did lose a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still on track right now. Don't jinx
Yeah,
us now.
we're still going. We're good. We had
Keep it
just
secret.
a small
If you're
glitch.
watching
safe.
live,
Yeah.
record this please for us, just in
Record this,
case.
yeah, while you're watching live.
That way we have proof that I was not depressed and down and on course to take my life.
Yeah. So Maui landowners face a lawsuit.
Which ones?
All of them.
No, which ones?
Wait.
The headline is Maui
Rock getting sued? What about Oprah?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering here. So the father of a woman who died last month in the Maui wildfires has launches a lawsuit against 3 major landowners on the islands, alleging dry grasses left to grow wild on their properties fueled the deadly blaze. So not The Rock or Oprah, because their houses didn't go bye-bye. Observers say the lawsuit brought by Harold Wells could become a blueprint for action against property owners amid growing risk of wildfires worldwide. So yeah, if you leave your house, if you leave your property however you want it, you're going to get sued for wildfires.
So is the whole world going to be an HOA now?
Yes.
There's going to be
To
stipulations
live on Earth, you need to pay. I mean, this is we're going back to the the UN, the NWO, the WHO,
AACP,
the HOA, we're
all of these.
you're gonna have to pay.
I don't. But the fires didn't start on the properties though. It's not like
No,
they started
they're
at
just
the marina, right? The boat dock or whatever. There was a collision. Am I wrong on this?
yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I
Maybe
don't
I'm
know.
thinking of a
I've
different
heard
incident.
different ways. Yeah. Let's see whether I hadn't heard that they
I
had
saw
come
a
through with
video
a
of
final.
a boat collision into fuel related objects. And that was where it
This
started originally, but I could be wrong.
yeah,
I'm probably
dry hot
wrong.
conditions. The grasses then left on me. Blah blah blah. I closed the fuel.
Maybe I'm thinking that there's a couple of marina fires and stuff
Well,
recently.
the electric company Hawaii Electric has been blamed a few times for it. Because there was an electrical storm. There was like a thunderstorm went over and hit poles and things of that nature. They think it may have sparked because the poles are old. They haven't replaced poles, things of that nature. They haven't really come out with the final say yet that I've seen, but they do argue. The scientists for the lawsuit argue that dry hot conditions amid strong winds fed swaths of imported buffalo and guinea grass pasture crops, which had spread the land once dominated by dry forest, which would have also been pretty hot, and sugar cane
I'm sure it
plantations.
would have cut itself down.
The
I'm
grasses
sure it would
then
have cut
left
itself and
to
regulated
grow
itself.
unmanaged are the equivalent of 15 tons of fire fuel per acre.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean it's just like anywhere else that catches on fire because it's dry
So
and there
natural
hasn't been.
causes.
Yeah.
So probably natural causes. You can't control lightning and storms.
I mean, I
Says who?
100% understand this guy's like
Flat Earth
his hurt,
might
his
argue
like
that.
yeah. I 100% understand this guy's grieving. He lost his daughter in the fires. 97 people were killed
Yeah.
and thousands of people have like their lives have been changed for good probably.
Oh,
Because
for sure. I mean, it's definitely
but
it's not to take put any light on the situation. It's definitely an
right,
unfortunate situation, and it's sad events, right?
right.
However, like things happen out of our control. How much of a difference if they cut it? Obviously, what do you want them to have? Just bare dirt? If they
Well,
cut
and
it down, how much of a difference would that have made? Even if they had 3 inches of it versus 3 feet. It
and
would
who
still
regulates
spread,
it?
correct? Because it's still
Who
dry. It's still
right. And that's it. Is who regulates it? Who sets a law that you can only have your grass this long? I mean, unless there's but this is pasture land. This isn't like your
right,
HOA like you said. This is like lands that have been designated. This is like you went to the country the government and said, I'd like so much money to take my land back to natural, preservation. And they're like, yeah, cool. And then you get sued for making your land preservation land.
right,
Like I brought my
right,
land back to swamp, their alligators started to live there and then they ate somebody.
right. Now I'm liably
Now,
or
yeah, now
liable
I'm
for
liable for alligators on my
somebody
property
losing a
eating
left foot
people,
or something. Yeah.
especially when they trespassed on my property.
Well, that's the natural course of it, right? So
Right.
alligators do what naturally? They eat stuff,
They
right?
don't
People.
eat humans though
No, they eat
naturally,
people. Naturally, they
unless
eat people.
you unless provoked or you're standing in their home.
They're like T-Rexes
And humans do what humans naturally do, right? Am I wrong? Humans
and
do what
die.
humans naturally do, and that's
Humans
sue
do
people.
and die. They die. Humans
No,
naturally
they
lose
sue
their
people.
lose their
You're going
limbs
to
and
get
die.
sued before you die. If you haven't been sued, are you even an American? Like,
That's right.
It's
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
True. Well, I'm out.
I'm like 3 times an American.
Knock on wood. I'm so American. I've been sued 6 times.
Three.
I should run for
Actually,
Congress.
1,776 times.
That's right. I'm working on it. Then I get my 40 virgins.
Oh, Jesus.
You
They're all
guys are
different.
getting virgins?
Well, that's what I'm told
That's
from the book I read. No.
Oh my gosh, this has gone
Don't you
off the
see it in the
rails.
fine print? Oh,
All right,
well, we veered off course again.
honest Abe, do you have an odds honest?
I no,
At least to kick this off. No, all right.
no,
So
I've been so busy. I dropped the ball on this one. I'm sorry. I'm not so
Jay
honest
Boots,
tonight.
you got it. You got an honest, odds honest, a strange, article or anything.
Well, it's not too odd, and it's not too strange.
Okay.
But there was a
So
Michigan lady
Oh, I think I have this one.
that got stuck in an outhouse.
Yep, I have this one.
She
All
went.
right.
She went in after her Apple Watch,
Yeah, that because it's
Oh
important.
no!
Yep.
and then as
Hey,
she
hold
goes
on,
in,
wait.
she got stuck.
Yep.
Not in Florida. This is Michigan.
This is Michigan.
In Michigan?
This is a
Yeah,
Michigan woman decided to jump in
No,
a
hold
porta
on.
potty.
Okay,
in an
there
outhouse.
was a dead body.
No, nope. This is just a lady that got
Oh,
stuck in a toilet.
she got in a toilet or an
Yeah,
outhouse?
An outhouse.
an
They got.
outdoor
They had removed
toilet.
the toilet. They took the toilet out, and she got in there and she got stuck, but she was successful in
She
retrieving her
fell.
Apple Watch. So that's
Yeah.
a win.
Head first. Head
Oh
first.
my
She couldn't get
gosh!
out. She was heard yelling for help. Then the toilet was removed
Somebody
and
walked
strap.
up and suddenly, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to look this up. Do you know where this happened?
It's one of those
Sounds like a
Michigan names.
Uber.
Yes, to
No, it
have
wasn't a Uber because they wouldn't have an Apple
no,
Watch if they were driving.
Otsego?
it was in Bagley Township.
You said
Otsego?
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 Yeah, I've been there
Where
actually. I
that's
did a show there for a week. It was a good time. Yeah, it is Otsego. That was great.
at. That's awesome.
Yep.
Crazy
I like that.
Michigander.
That is way up north though. That's good height up there.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's pretty funny. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
She
Well,
yeah.
hey, I'm sure that watch
They
was
literally had to haul the woman out of the toilet with a strap. Like,
yeah,
have you ever clogged your toilet so much that they had to take your toilet off and haul someone away?
I've never clogged it with a woman, no.
Maybe you should have tried.
Well, there's always tomorrow.
Okay, adding that to my list.
Something you never knew you needed to try.
So here is the PSA from the state police. If you lose an item in an outhouse toilet, do not attempt to
Don't go in
venture
after it.
inside the containment area. Serious injury may occur.
Oh shoot! Oh shoot!
So
Lawsuit.
I have to waste tax dollars and call the police to come do it? Or?
That's it. That's it.
Lawsuit.
Okay. That's fiscally responsible.
Lawsuit.
This is
Was there a warning label?
There was not. There was not a warning label for "Do not
There was
enter
no
the
warning
containment
label to
area
keep her
of the
from
toilet." Do
going
not
in
go.
after her watch.
Yeah. Do not go head first in. In California, this causes cancer.
Oh jeez. This is
Yeah.
This is
that's an unfortunate
bogus.
event. Was she a Michigan resident? Did it say?
It did not. It said a Michigan woman.
She's probably
So
well maybe yeah.
I
I was
would
gonna say
guess
she's
it's
probably from Indiana, but
those dumb Indianans. Never seen a. Oh my god.
We lost all the viewers in Indiana.
I was gonna say we're really marking viewers off our list tonight.
That's right.
Hey, but we had redemption on the women voters.
If the women voters are back, but if you're from
Yeah.
Indiana
Or Canada,
Canada, that's right.
Yeah, we killed off a few. Sorry, we ended a few tonight.
That's right. That's right. I think this really earns an odds honest truth. We're gonna play it. It's the odds honest truth with your host, Honest Dave.
But this week with a special guest.
That's right. That's right. So these next 8 are all odd headlines. Yeah, we got 8. We're gonna go through them quick. So these next 8 are all odd headlines that I found from the interwebs. I've been working. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be a better podcast. So the hot dog mobile is now again the Wiener mobile.
Oh,
It's
I
no
did hear
longer
about that.
the Oscar Mayer sausage I don't remember what they
I
called
was
it,
worried.
but yes,
Yep.
it has become the Wienermobile again. Nobody could pronounce the actual better name, the other name. So
Yeah, I think that's
the
for the best.
Frankmobile. No, everybody was wondering who Frank was, and no one could figure out. So,
I think that's for the greater good. Honestly,
it is for the
that they
better,
went
the
back
greater
to
good.
that
We've got
because then I feel like it leaves less confusion. People aren't like, well, it's been the Wienermobile for 60 years or whatever it's been. So since what? It was like 1940s or something,
probably
50s when
since
it came.
World War II. World War II, definitely.
World War II is definitely our staple for the night.
That is definitely when
Yeah,
everything started.
it's been the Wienermobile for as long as I've known, which has been at least 36
Yeah,
years of my life.
it's
So, and
right,
yours is
right.
what, 40, 45 years? No,
Oh, we're going there, huh?
kidding,
We're
kidding,
going
kidding.
there.
But no, it's got to be at least since the 50s,
Yeah,
I would think.
yeah.
So why would we change it? It's not offensive to anybody, right? Like it's a hot dog, it's a
Well,
wiener.
I mean, I think that was the problem is they
Wiener
thought it was
is not the correct medical terminology for anything bad. All right.
right.
The
Well,
slang word that was used in what do you say?
Perpetuity.
Right. so so
the
thank you for
Wienermobile
that.
was created in 1936. Like you are way
So it's
off.
even further than I thought.
Before World War II.
Hey, they needed something. They needed something at the end of the Depression,
Right, that's it. That's it. They started working on the Wienermobile for the Great Depression to finish the Great Depression off.
Yeah.
And then now they went on from there.
Missy, nobody ever, like, realistically, when did wiener become a slang term for
Like I feel
penis?
like Wiener has gone to like it was a bad thing, and then now it's like no one cares again.
Well, it's not like you're calling people wieners, as
Well,
like
I
a
mean,
derogatory term. If you were using that to like be mean to somebody, they'd laugh at
right,
you. I would hope they'd
right,
laugh at you. You
right.
know?
Yeah,
I
well,
think
you're a wiener.
I'm
I'm gonna go
offended.
cry.
I'm kicking you off. All
Bye,
right.
folks.
You almost made me run with one leg.
Oh man. Did anyone
You'll
ever
understand
think
later
though
if you don't know.
this whole Anthony Weiner that got in trouble for the whole ladies thing and all of that the mayor of New York, I mean, like, who could have been born with a better name than that to get in trouble with like sending out pics of your wiener?
No, it's like the whole Hitler debate. It's like if Hitler grew up in a different environment, will he still have killed 6 million Jews?
You never know.
So if he grew up with a different last name, would he not have ended up in a wiener culture? Like
I'm sure we wouldn't have been saying like "Hail Hitler." We would have said, something else like.
I mean, if his
Stalin.
last name was something else, yeah, we would have said Hail Porter.
It doesn't really have the same ring, right? Like
It
if they
doesn't, but it could.
But it comes down to the
Had we-
psychology of
Hitler,
it, right?
right. It's all the technicality of Hitler being Hitler, right? Like,
Yeah, it's his
but Hitler
environment.
does have some. Maybe Hitler, like I was saying, like Hitler has some sort of evil, like kind of.
Right.
It's kind of dark, you know.
Yeah.
But is that just because we know him as being dark and evil,
Well,
and
Because
Like,
in his
or
eyes, he was trying to do good. So maybe Anthony Weiner was just trying to do good.
yeah, just sending out some
well, he was
joy.
trying to do good.
Well, that's your moral perspective.
I love how the Wienermobile
I don't know
turned
about the
into
Hitler
a
thing.
debate about Hitler and Anthony Weiner. I love that.
Somehow we made a comparison.
We we may never be able to leave this podcast because I don't know
we're
that the
definitely on a
podcast
list.
comes to this without us.
We're definitely on a list now because
We're
of that
on a few.
statement of the
2,
comparison between
3, 4.
Anthony Weiner and Hitler.
We're working on being on all the lists.
Yeah.
We're on a roll. We're
The
on a
naughty
roll, for
list,
sure.
the good list, the
Yeah.
All right, so the Wienermobile went over really well. I think that change was only like what 6 months or something.
Yeah,
but
it didn't
anyhow,
last long.
no, it didn't.
Frank didn't last long.
That's Frank couldn't keep it up. So there was an Israeli tank that was stolen from a military zone, and authorities found it in a junkyard.
I have questions.
So I think what happened was this guy, like, he's like, hold my beer or whatever Israelis drink, and
Right.
his buddy, who could have been named Frank if he was in the U.S., was probably named like David or something like that. Says okay, and the guy jumps over a fence, jumps into a tank, and drives off because he's had his 2 years of military experience. This could be a deterrent for making everyone take 2 years of military experience. Now everyone in the country has the ability to maybe be able to drive a military tank.
Well, maybe we don't teach them how to drive a tank within the first 2 years.
But then you would have 0 people or less people driving tanks.
Well,
I think that I kind of feel like this was a no balls moment. Like we're like, oh, you won't do it.
Right, I double dog dare you.
Yeah, like I'll triple dog dare you. Oh crap, I gotta go do it now. And then we briefly discussed this earlier, just real briefly. Like he got it, and then he's like, it reminds me of that Dane Cook, the little segment that he did.
I do
Well, I
not
kicked
want to
that
do a
door in,
B&E.
and I immediately realized that I didn't want to do a B&E. I just wanted to kick a door down. You know?
That's right.
I just wanted to steal a tank.
Yeah, definitely.
Prove that he could.
Yeah. So, basically, the tank disappeared from a training zone in Northern Ireland near the coast city of Haifa. The Israeli army said on Wednesday. So this is like super new, just happened.
It was the whiskey. It was the Irish whiskey. You said he did it in Ireland?
No. Northern Israel. Did I say Ireland?
You said Ireland. You did say
All right,
Ireland.
well, it was Israel. Northern Israel.
Northern
Israel near the coast. Yeah, I mean, if it was in Ireland, that would be the thing. He said, Seamus, I'm stealing this tank, and no Israeli's gonna stop me.
Not this time.
This was in Israel. Sorry.
I thought you said that. Then you said Ireland. I was like,
yeah, it was the training zone is closed to public when in use, but is otherwise accessible by passers-by. So basically, they weren't using it, and then it was abandoned in a scrapyard near a military base. A video from the scene: the Army green tank towers alongside of a bunch of metal scrap. The tank was decommissioned years ago, so it was unarmed. It said it's
maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why I abandoned it. He's like, well,
Probably it didn't
shoot,
have
there's not even
arms.
a
He's
shell
like,
in
well, this
here.
isn't even worthwhile. I'm going to die for this. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean the pictures are pretty much like you just it looks like it was
It
decommissioned
belonged
just
in
sitting
the
there.
salvage yard.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's been in a training facility, so I'm sure like the best drivers are not driving it. It's like student drivers. It's got a student
Right.
driver sticker on the back.
Right.
Um and
Did they catch the
um
guy that did it, or no?
it
They
doesn't say so far. They have two
lived
suspects
on.
in connection with the that they arrested, so those guys are dead. Um
turns
Both of
out,
them.
turns out it wasn't either of them. You know,
Probably not,
the
but
guy that was
either
like
way,
smart enough and dumb enough to steal a tank was like
right?
still out there.
He's
It
still
was
out
just like a
there.
drunken night or
It,
something, and
it's
he's like, you know,
it's like the
he's
guy
killing his
that
buddies on the construction site the next day.
it's like the guy that broke out of the Philadelphia prison. That
Right.
was with it stayed like 12 days within 4 miles of the prison, and he's like, yeah, they could have pretty much reached out and touched me like 4 times. I was getting ready to go to Canada tomorrow. Likely story, man. Everyone was going to Canada tomorrow. Why were you
Right.
anyway? Why were you going to Canada? It's hard to
Right.
get into Canada. Like they like. I
There's a lot of
mean,
unprotected boundaries and to get to Canada. You just
but I
go
feel like that
go up to northern Michigan.
that that is true. That is true. I
Knock it
know.
all
I
out.
know. I know of a group that that drove into Canada accidentally from Maine. So
Yeah, no,
on
there's
on
a
their
lot
way
of
back in,
not a wall. Like, you
I
know.
know. I know.
Now if you try to cross like around the Great Lakes area and stuff, there's obviously bridges that you have to go, but there's not a wall if
Right.
you want to hike in Canada.
At
Right.
some
That's
time
true.
on this podcast, at some time, can we talk about how petty America and Canada was with the borderline up there? Because it's terrible.
You mean it's not straight?
It's not straight.
Are you talking how it just goes like
And then
Yeah. I
there's this
mean,
and then it goes like this and then
there's only so many people who want to actually live in Canada,
and
and
then
there's a
I
there's
mean,
lot of.
this
let's be honest. Outside of like Ottawa, Ontario, um, yeah, like Quebec region, um,
In British Columbia.
BC. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
BC, maybe Newfoundland. A
like
few of
there.
the areas,
Calgary.
the majority of Canada is relatively unpopulated.
Yeah,
Right.
it's all down by Toronto, but like up in Minnesota.
Well, BC is west; it's not by Toronto.
Well, I mean,
But
anywhere that
there
anyone
are.
actually wants to live. I mean, you
No,
visit BC, you live in Toronto.
look up. I just found it. Look up
No,
Angle
BC is
Inlet because
beautiful.
there's this
I lived
country.
there
There,
before
there's
Toronto.
this town in America that you have to drive through Canada to get to.
Alaska?
No,
Oh,
no,
you
no, no,
said
no. Town. There's a town called Angle Inlet, and you have to literally drive.
Oh,
This is how petty it is. This is how petty America and Canada was when they were deciding the boundaries. So if you have to
we'll talk
drive
about Mexico
into,
and
you have
U.S.
it's on the north
Talk about
side of
petty.
Minnesota.
Oh yeah, these people did not want to become part of Canada.
That's petty, and quite frankly, I'm
It's
tired of it.
literally right next to Jim's
I'm tired
Corner.
of this. They should rezone everything. They should we should redo all of the borders up there. Now I have a lot of friends in Ontario specifically, and some in like around the Ottawa area. Um,
When you could take a boat to Angle Inlet.
yeah, yeah. Well, you could take a boat to Canada from where I'm at too. But they'll find you on the banks. That's for sure. Um,
Not if you run fast. The Cubans have been doing it for years.
that's
The Mounties are still mounted, right?
the Mounties are still mounted. Yes, so let's not go there, Super Troopers. Um,
All right.
no, there is a lot. Now, if you're hiking and stuff, I'm sure you could make it through if you want to fight a moose or two.
I don't.
But
I
But
do.
no, yeah, I don't know how we get on this Canadian. Oh, because he was headed to Canada. That's right.
Yeah, he was headed. The guy from that robbed broke out of
I would
prison
have
was
liked to
headed to Canada.
see. I would have liked to see what his plans were to get into Canada from Philly or what, or not Philly, but Pennsylvania, wherever he was at in Pennsylvania. I don't remember
Yeah.
the city. Um, because he's got to go. He's either swimming or he's got to go one way or the other. He's probably headed towards Buffalo, but how are you going to get in to like through the Buffalo border? You know, that's a bridge, and they
Yeah.
have.
Well, then that's what I'm saying is like your plan from Philadelphia to get to Canada seems like unless you're going like towards Montana or you're going like I said to Maine and you're catching one of those places, Vermont or something. But I got
Maybe
stuck.
that was the point.
They searched my vehicle in Vermont from to Maine on 4th of July weekend. For some reason.
No, I've been searched going over to Ontario quite a bit. Um,
Could have been that the
I
guy I
don't know
was
if I
with
can say that
said that he was
publicly.
trying to try to leave me there.
No,
But
yeah, no, I think that's a fairly normal thing. There's certain things they're looking for. Also, some of it is random, and it all depends on who you get across the border. I just don't understand. Yeah, I would have liked to seen his plan. Let's just leave it at that.
I don't know
Maybe
that
he'll
he
write a
had
book.
a great plan. I think it was just literally like he's like, well, I'd have been gone if you would have waited another day.
Almost got away.
I was going. So on this whole like plan to rob Canada or whatever or get away to Canada, there's
I like
another
the first one.
article about two bears who raided a Krispy Kreme donut van making deliveries on an Alaska military base. So not only did these bears break into a military base, they
Um,
also broke into a van who was dropping off donuts on the military base.
This seems like a highly
you
precise attack.
This, yeah,
very well thought out. I don't. I mean, I don't know how. I would think that they'd have some sort of security precautions up there on the military base.
for
However, at the same
bears.
Not for
time,
bears. Not for
yeah,
bears.
it's wildlife. You know, it's not like they can just shoot them on sight because I bet they'll break into our Krispy Kreme van. You know.
Those jerks.
Oh
Also,
man,
was it at the MP office?
no, no,
No.
but it should have
See what you
been.
did there.
It should have
See what
been.
you did.
Should have been. Yeah. So this guy, yeah,
We are on a roll tonight. We just
yeah,
lost all law enforcement.
this guy normally leaves the back end of his truck open when he does stops and stuff.
Because
And
yeah,
it saves time, obviously.
right.
But this time, when he did that, two bears that were just hanging out around the base jumped in the back. They hung out for about 20 minutes on a Tuesday morning. And he was dropping it off at a store on the base. Obviously, the
Turned
MPs
up
were
on a
sitting there.
Tuesday.
It's Donut Tuesday.
Turned up on a Tuesday.
This is the driver says I was beating on the side of the van. They were not moving. I could hear them breaking open the packages and everything. They didn't even care.
Well, duh. You got a sweet treat in front of you.
Right.
How many
You're eating
times
some
do you
Krispy
care?
Kremes?
You
Right.
know, I'm not even a big donut person, but you put a sweet treat in front of me. I'm not going to pay attention to too much around me. You know, you put cookies in front of me, I might lose all sense of direction and everything around me.
Yeah, they kind of fell asleep for a little bit. The bears eventually came out later. They ran sirens and everything, and couldn't get the bears out. The driver
So it
now said
was
he's going to
the
close his
MP.
doors every stop.
It was the MP officers that came in to help.
Yeah, I think they were MPs in bear costumes, really, and they didn't care.
There you go.
What is this? Krispy
Were
Kreme gate?
were the Bears sitting there to take the place of the MPs while they were getting Krispy Kreme donuts, and they just decided to join in because they're Bears and they don't have a lot of, mental fortitude. And so
I think
the
it's all
MPs got,
conspiracy.
yeah, I think,
At the end of the day, the MPs are going to have to take and confiscate all evidence, um, for research and evidence reasons.
definitely gotta take gotta impound this evidence for research. Plus, it's not going to last very long in the research,
Right,
in the evidence
right.
lockers. So,
For
might as
multiple reasons.
well take care of it.
Right.
So the PSA coming down was, we urge the public to use caution to ensure that you are protecting our wildlife and yourselves, but mostly our wildlife. Wildlife may be our neighbor, but they should not be attracted to our human food sources. So make sure you
AKA,
shut your doors.
don't eat Krispy Kreme because it might kill you.
Shut your doors. This kind of sounds like, a woman who, maybe dresses provocatively. Shut your doors, shut your legs. Don't make it too obvious that you're carrying food, or that you're trying to attract bears or other men. Now we just lost the women vote again. The women listeners
You
again.
ruined it.
But
You ruined it.
this PSA sounds like it's just been a recycled PSA before.
Well, obviously they've got to have some sort of public service announcement, right?
Generator,
But
like an
one of my
AI.
questions, right? True. Yeah, it could just be automatically generated. Um, my question though would be more along the lines of protecting these bears, and if we were to go through this whole long deal of protecting these bears, what happened to the bears after this? Like, was
They they
this cocaine bear?
they
Like
say they
where
just ran off. Eventually, they ran off looking for daylight or something.
maybe a little bit sluggish.
I
Maybe
mean,
they
it would make
had a
sense to
sugar
be
crash
cocaine
later on.
bear. I mean, after you've had so much cocaine, what are you looking for? Some sugar,
He ate a
something to eat?
kilo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He ate
but
like a
they
kilo. The Cocaine Bear movie is obviously a large Hollywood
It's
exaggeration.
it's no, it's definitely a
The,
documentary.
the realistic, it's a true story. It's just not a true story.
Right.
A bear did eat a kilo of cocaine. However, he died like 10 minutes later, or within
Right.
10 minutes,
Right.
something like that. Like, he did not
You
go
mean
on this whole rate. I
you
haven't even
mean
watched the movie,
even
but
a bear can't take down a kilo of cocaine in one
right,
sitting?
right.
There
Imagine
might be
if
a
we replaced
Biden.
these massive tranquilizers with crazy poisonous things and just gave them coke.
What
Oh
if
wait,
we created
I guess we
like
don't kill them with tranquilizers, right?
a Biden a Biden eating contest? Would that include a kilo of cocaine?
Whoa! You just put us back on our radar again.
Did I? All right, all right. So, like, the police have been called in
Right.
this last article. So this kind of segues into the police stop a Nebraska man for bucking the law with a riding shotgun in his car.
Yes, I saw this. I actually thought about this a couple weeks ago because it's a couple weeks old now.
Yeah, it's a little.
Um,
It's from August 31st.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was talking to Haley about this, and I was like, I got to remember this for the
Yep.
next time I'm on the podcast because
Yeah,
it's such a
and
random story.
the
But I
car,
also
like,
said that it's something that Haley would do because she wants a Highland cow so bad. So I showed her
right,
it, and she was like, "That's ridiculous." I was like, "Oh,
right,
that's ridiculous." But you want to throw a Highland cow in our house, you
right,
know?
right.
Like,
Definitely, you want to throw a Highland cat, but this, like, the car is
it's a full
perfect.
steer.
What's that?
It's a full size steer in this car.
It is
Like,
it's a Crown Vic.
yeah, yeah,
It's not like, I mean, a Crown Vic's a big car, But this isn't like, oh, he got a Ford F-150 or a Ford 3500 and threw it in the back,
No, he
or any
cut the
truck.
roof out,
Like literally cut the roof out, put a
like a
steer
stall
gate.
gate or a stall door
Yeah,
to replace the door, and literally has this steer in his car
yeah. Of
cruising around,
course, it's
going for a ride.
Nebraska, so it says somebody called 911 about it driving on the main highway, entering the city of roughly 24,000.
You know, big city stuff.
Big city
Oh,
stuff, yeah. The bull was named Howdy Doody, so just so you know.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's literally
I am.
on the car. There was a hood ornament of some longhorns.
His brother
Yeah,
that
yeah.
passed away. God rest his soul. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Howdy Doody's brother.
Howdy Diddy.
Howdy Diddy. uh, yeah.
Pour
It
one
was.
out.
It was judged the best car entry in Nebraska's big rodeo parade last month.
But the
Yep.
guy can't take Howdy
Yeah, he
Doody to
can't
go
keep
get
on
some ice
going.
cream.
Yeah, the officer was told that he went to that parade. He drove Howdy Doody in the proper trailer. So it wasn't clear why he had decided to go on a road trip with Howdy Doody. Maybe he loved it so much. Maybe Howdy Doody enjoyed it. He's like, hey, Howdy Doody, let's go. It was such a good time. Let's get out of this crap. There's
Really, realistically,
too much proper.
knowing. No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Realistically, like knowing like country people, you know, like growing up in the country, obviously, it probably wasn't like he went on this like 50-mile journey to go into town. It was probably like a few miles running in, probably getting him some ice cream or a pup cup or whatever you want to call it for a for a cow.
Howdy.
But right, um, it was probably just like a hey man, he loved it in the parade. Let's go for a little cruise and you know this and that. Like we had such a good time, you know.
Yeah. Basically, his wife says she's not excited about how much time he spends with his bull.
Jay, what do you got to say about this?
well, why would she be excited about any of that?
I mean,
I feel like Haley would be
I
super excited if I got a
I'm
cow.
trying. I don't
And then
know if you're going to commit
car.
that level of time. Are you going to commit that level of attention? See, I don't know if you know this, but having a wife is probably more important than having a cow.
I don't know. This bull was
Yeah,
pretty
but
great.
where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line as too much is too much? You know, like a
Wife or
pet
too
is a
much
pet.
cow?
What's that?
His wife said he thinks he's a movie star after being on video so many times.
Yeah, but hold on. To go back to Jay's statement of spending so much time with the cow, what is like? How much is too much? You know, like
So,
is there a defined like? Okay, well, if you spend 5 hours a week with your cow, that's acceptable. But you spend six, and we're going down a slippery slope to obsession. You know, like
so here it is. The amount of money that he spent on this whole darn project, she says, between the car and the bull, I could have had a brand new kitchen.
Yeah.
That's the line right there.
So kitchen,
Is your obsession a
that's
brand new
remodeling
kitchen?
a kitchen. Yeah.
the kitchen is not what I expected. Like I expected something totally different out of that statement, but like
It's
you know,
Nebraska. It's Nebraska, honest Abe. It's Nebraska.
going back to growing up in the country. Okay, that's what I expected. You know what I mean? Uh, I love small town living.
So at the end of it, Ryman, the officer, the officer on scene said there were clearly some traffic violations related to Meyer's car, but the officer let him off with a warning as long as he turned around and took Howdy Doody home.
That's all he
2
got was a
miles up the
warning.
road.
He got a warning
2
for
miles up the
cutting his
road.
car in half and putting a bull inside of it and going for a joyride.
2 miles up the road was probably all it was. Was like, oh, I realize you're
He
just
was in
outside of town.
town. Like, this is a photo of him
No,
in
I
town
get
next
it.
to a bar.
That's what I'm saying is you don't. It's not like he was on a 50-mile journey or 600 miles into a journey. He was going into town. He probably already had him
30,
loaded up, driving around a little bit. He
36
was like,
miles.
I forgot I didn't run into town to get this, and he was probably just going to get milk for his wife. That ungrateful woman.
This is his
I'm
dog.
just kidding.
This is like
Just
his
kidding.
dog.
Female viewers, I'm kidding.
His
It's
wife
all
is
the
probably
wife's fault at
pregnant.
the
She
end of the
needed a
day.
pickle sandwich.
Oh, jeez. I
He
like the
says,
unicorn in the background there, Jay.
"Howdy
That's
Doody, get in there."
yeah. Howdy
It's
doody,
not
you're already
mine,
loaded
I
up, I
swear.
guess. What's that?
Said it's not mine, I swear.
That's
Hey, it doesn't
Jay Boots'
matter.
unicorn.
You don't have to justify it these days. It's
You
cool.
just if that's how you roll, that's how you roll.
There was also a Christmas tree.
I saw there was Christmas lights.
Sure.
So.
It's a Christmas tree.
I
I have a
mean,
daughter.
do
Sure you
we
do.
want
I'm just
to
kidding.
go? Sure you do.
All right.
Do we want
You
to go
had
with the
like 18 of them,
champions?
so
Do we want to go
what's
with the
that?
champions or smashing? Smashing things or the
Uh,
champions?
Jay, you choose.
Smash him.
All right. China authorities arrest 2 for smashing a shortcut through the Great Wall of China
How rude.
with an excavator.
I mean, that is a historical artifact.
If
So
this
these
isn't a
guys go
rock'em sock'em smash 'em type of
So these
headline,
guys go into history with Genghis Khan and the Manchus as the only people to have ever broken through the Great Wall of China.
did they get through
Yes.
before authorities were like on them?
Yes. Zhang and Wang broke through the Great Wall of China.
Stop. Not
Stop it.
Zhang and Wang.
Yep.
Stop.
Zhang, a 38-year-old man, and Wang, a 55-year-old woman, broke through the Great Wall of China, making a dirt road so that they could do the landscaping along the other side.
What are they worried about?
They were going to
They're
rebuild.
just
There's
trying to beautify
miles.
the country.
There are miles and miles of Great Wall. I mean, what's a couple feet?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I think the Great
Oh,
Wall is like something like 24,000 miles. Or no, it's like it's 13,000 miles.
so do they talk about like how much they had to go around to get to the other side, or they were just tired of making the
Yes,
day and a
they.
half journey to get to the other side, or what? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's part of an 8,000-mile stretch that is large enough to have a cart go through. Yeah, they just wanted a shortcut. It doesn't say that they had to go how far they had to go around. This was, Chinese news. But
also, what do they own property on both sides? What were they worried about? Like,
no, I
it's
guess
on
they
the
were
other
just
side of the
doing it,
wall. It's not like
doing
you
a
see it
deal, and
normally.
they
You
didn't want to
obviously
drive
live on
around.
one side. What's that?
They were working on it. They had a deal to do some landscaping on the other side, and decided instead of driving around and spending the time to get there, that they were just going to smash through.
I like it. I feel like it's a real opportunist, like, hey, we have this opportunity, we've been hired to do this or whatever. Um, Maximize opportunity and effort here work smarter, not harder. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were put in jail for this.
Yes, they were arrested, and
They're probably dead now.
yeah, they're dead. Just like
Yeah, that's like
those those one guys earlier that we talked about. Oh, the Israelis. Yeah, just like
yeah,
the
the
Israelis.
Israeli stealing the tank. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're
But I
dead.
think China is like if you mess up in your job, you're kind of flogged in the street, kind of thing.
Yeah, this is
So
beyond that. I think
what's that?
you brought shame to your ancestors. You're dead.
Right, right. Yeah, this is like we might take your next in kin too.
You, your sons and daughters are also gone.
I
Yeah,
guess, I mean,
Zhang and Yang, Zhang and
I
Wang.
guess it's no different than if somebody decided to like drill a hole through like Mount Rushmore to like
Right,
you know.
right,
I mean, it's a national monument kind of thing.
right. This is like
Um,
cutting the Golden Great Gate Bridge in half so you don't have to boat around it.
that's now I don't know. Is it? Is it, Jay? Well, we need your input. You need to break the tiebreaker here. Aaron is comparing this to cutting the Golden Gate Bridge in half, so you don't have to go around it. I'm thinking that the Golden Gate Bridge is a pretty big deal. I guess Great Wall of China is a
I mean,
pretty
it's the
big
Great
deal
Wall of
too.
China. This is
It's pretty great.
thousands of years old as opposed to a couple, like 70, 80, the World War II era.
So is China taking care of the existing wall that we have left? Is China actively taking care of it? Is there a
Yes,
department?
yes, they were pretty upset about it.
Okay.
Well, obviously they're upset about it,
their
but
their Department of
but
Natural Agricultural
the
Resources.
Golden Gate Bridge like cuts off a pretty. That's like a pretty big mode of transportation.
Yeah, I mean, you can put carts on the Great Wall of China and drive down it.
You can't
It
anymore.
depends.
Yeah.
Depends, I guess. So every year they paint the Golden Gate Bridge international orange. That's the official color of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Do they paint the
Great
Great Wall
Wall
of
of
China?
China. I don't know. I just like you can get around the other side of the bay, but nobody wants to go through like Oakland and all that and like, like go around the other side of San Francisco that way. Nobody wants to go around that. It already takes 16 hours to get through San Francisco and stuff because of traffic anyways. You
Well, see,
decide to
these guys
cut
didn't want to
through
drive 16
Golden Gate
hours on the
Bridge, it's a
other
whole other
side
animal.
of the Great Wall.
Oh, that's
They
true.
just
That's
drove.
true.
They
You
just
should
drove their
thousands and
excavator
thousands
through.
of miles.
Just
Okay.
blah.
I stand corrected. I
Obviously
stand.
they're dead, but should there be? We made we built the Golden Gate Bridge was built for the ease of traffic and for man to be able to get to work.
I think you've got it.
So
He's on to something.
These
so
guys built a shortcut for the ease of traffic. They should literally be national heroes.
Right. Working smarter, not harder.
That's right. These
what's
people are
that
in
like?
trouble for.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to.
We just work harder.
Obviously, it didn't work out so well because they're dead now.
They're
Yeah.
dead.
Probably.
They did.
I'm gonna say on a scale of 1 to 2, it's probably a 2.5 that they're dead.
That's right.
I like your scale. I'm
So
going to use that.
on the same type of like deal, competitors get down and dirty at Britain's dog snorkeling championships.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Oh,
I definitely think this is the same level of story.
Probably a little less historical.
Yeah. Maybe. No, I
um,
don't know. I don't
dog
know.
snorkeling. How far back does this go?
This is the
Desert
35th
Storm.
anniversary. 35 years.
Desert Storm.
This is almost World War II.
What's that?
38 years is almost World War II.
Oh, shut up! It
I'm
is
38.
not.
I'm 38.
You got now. Oh, hold on. You got all
Didn't you
these.
fight in
You got all these
WW2?
kids. You get all these kids that are trying to do the math now in Common Core that are like, hold on, 38. Hold on,
Carry the one.
45
How many
minus
rounds do I have to count? How many blocks do I put
2023,
outside of here?
1945
Is
minus.
there
Hold
is there a
on.
circle? What about how many of these do I count? Yeah.
No. I think you're off about what 20 plus years.
Um, I'm making
40
almost
more?
70 now. Yeah, this is like
What is it?
48. Almost
You
70
said
years ago.
38. You said
Plus
38
40.
at some point.
It was
So
about 70 years, 70, 80 years ago.
Right. So yeah, that thing. They had to go 60 yard. Oh, this is a bog snorkeling championship, not dog. So they're slithering through slime. Um, 60 yards, 55 meters for you in the other countries that we are being listened to in, or
the
that
rest of the world.
we have now alienated because we've said stupid things.
We basically just
The
have
water.
Costa Rica
Hold
left.
on, hold on. Canada, meh, probably parts of it. China probably all hates us.
Probably China. We're probably no longer in Russia.
Hey, they're our
Switzerland,
only
I'm down
ally.
for. Switzerland is cool. I'm down
Switzerland,
for
maybe. They're a little. They're a
Iceland.
little.
Iceland, cool. Probably the side of the asteroid, half a pound. Um, I think we're
That's
okay
probably where we
still,
got the asteroid is Iceland.
right? Um, what was the other one we touched on? Israel, right?
Israel's probably. They may not. They may like us. I mean, we've given them a good rep.
What's
Obviously,
what?
if you double cross
Hold
Ireland or Israel, you're getting a
hold
beat
the
down.
sacrificial wine and watch this. This is Israel.
Israel. Yeah, that's right. That's right. David is
Because
sitting there.
it just makes more sense.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to this bog snorkeling,
Bog,
not
yeah.
dog
This is a
snorkeling.
peat bog. It's a water-filled trench through. You can use flippers
It
on your
got
feet.
heated. You
Yeah,
said it got heated.
it was 35 years annual contest. You know, it's
What happened?
spectators got in on the fun. There was two wearing pink cardboard boxes proclaiming that them to be the limited edition bog snorkeling Barbie and Ken. Yeah, the Neil Rudder won. He got through the bog in a minute and 18 seconds.
You don't say. With a
He was
name like
shot.
that, you better.
He was shot out of a cannon, and he used his rudder to get himself through to navigate. Yeah, that's pretty
Back
much
to
it.
these pink.
People got snorkels
the
on and
pink
masks,
cardboard.
and yeah,
I feel like Red Bull should have covered this
Red Bull.
competition.
This should have. This definitely feels like a Red Bull event. But this is in Wells, Wales.
Red Bull has
Yeah,
wings or gives you wings, so
yeah.
be okay.
Thought it was
Um,
Right.
Wales.
it's pretty wild. So this is snorkeling.
This is bog snorkeling. Yes. You
Bog.
basically you go into a mud pit with a snorkel and a mask on, maybe some flippers, and it basically looks like they went into the ditch of a road, filled it with water for 60 yards, and then people just swam it.
Obviously, Rudder changed the whole game for everybody, and
Yes.
now there's going to be different stipulations for next year.
He definitely, by navigating the way he did with his, you know,
Shot out of a
he's, yeah, being shot out of a cannon and using his rudders. He got us there.
We can't. There's got to be one better than this one. We can't finish it on that one.
The last article I have is Rupert Murdoch is stepping down as head of Fox Corp and News Corp at 92.
Let's wrap it up with bog snorkeling.
Well, snorkeling. So, yeah, with the bog snorkeling, pretty much, one person carried a giant plastic toad on her head. Another had a bathing cap and flowers. Everybody just did it the way they wanted to do it.
It definitely seems like a Red Bull event for
Yeah,
sure.
it definitely. Like next year, Red Bull will pick it up.
Like
It'll
what is
last.
it, Flugatog or whatever it's called, where they send the flying boat off the platform.
Yeah, the flute talk. Yeah, they just had that one in Cincinnati. I wanted to go to
Yeah,
like two
yeah, you
weeks
should have
ago.
gone.
I wanted to go, but
Wow, wow,
I've got an almost
wow.
2-year old, so I have to go next year.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not going to be in Cincinnati though next year.
Well, they have them all over like in regional areas around the country. So it may not be in Cincinnati, but there should be one in our region. Might be a
Right.
better place. Like
Maybe it'll be in Detroit.
there you go. They have
Yep.
a river.
But if it was this past weekend, probably not going to work out so well next year. Or it would.
No, I
You
was
never
like
know.
two weeks ago or something like that. It was sometime in
Yeah,
late August.
I remember seeing something about it, but I didn't see it. I'll have to get on Red Bull TV and rewatch it. So,
So
so
yeah, I mean, we can end it on the Patriot fan that died from a traumatic injury at a Patriots game, got punched. No,
whatever. Hey, you're the captain of
whatever,
this ship.
whatever kills the Patriot fans.
It's
Um,
it's your. See what I did there?
that's right. Running
It's
the
your
ship into
world.
the
We're just
ground.
living in it, Aaron.
So, Jay Boots, what'd you learn?
Well, first of all, I learned a lot. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that Red Bull sponsored underwater snorkeling of bogs.
Well, they're not, but I think we should definitely pitch it to them, and maybe we could get this into like we could get some money for advertising or something.
I mean, I like it, so sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, if
I also
nothing
learned that,
else, I mean,
yeah.
we could get Monster in on it, maybe.
Okay.
No, no, no
No,
monster.
no, we
Just
don't.
Red Bull.
Just Red Bull.
We don't
Mountain Dew,
monster around. Yeah, just Red
Mountain
Bull.
Dew amp.
No, no, I'm not really. Yeah,
I'm a
I
big
don't
Mountain Dew
know.
amp fan.
I
The
also
only thing
learned
I like,
that,
the only
Original.
thing I like about Red Bull is just because they're involved with all the extreme sports and that sort of thing.
Soccer
But
teams.
yeah, I don't know. I've seen too many really terrible monster tattoos on people too.
True.
So
We don't want to perpetuate
it's
that.
an opinion based solely on that, not on monster
based
itself.
based on
as it
Sorry,
crappy
should be,
Monster.
monster.
as it should
My
be.
opinion is based solely on your crappy monster tattoos. All right, they're out.
Yeah, solely based on people that made decisions to
Uh,
get monster tattoos.
that's right.
Um,
You're out.
yeah.
I learned that we shouldn't cut the Golden Gate Bridge in half.
I still think it's eye for eye. Wang and Zhang, don't let them in our country, but probably Biden will. And if you find a national monument cut in half, then blame it on the Chinese. But they'll say, no, it's not the Chinese. It was some guy out of Costa Rica or the big orange man. He's the one that's in fault.
The bad
I
orange
Bad
wonder who
man.
orange
that was.
man.
Yeah,
That's not ringing
that's
any
true.
bells. Who is that?
Honest Abe, what'd you learn?
So, comparison of Orange Man. Is that Syracuse? All right, we'll go
Yes.
back. All right, so
Orange man from New York.
I learned a lot of things tonight. Actually, I'm along the same lines with Jay Boots. I think we should all reassess our lives and the decisions we make to work smarter and not harder. Um, um, I also had no clue there was a scuba bog championships, the
It's a
worldwide.
championship, world champion.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to research this some more. In addition to this, don't put your livestock in
In your Crown Vic.
your Crown Vic and cruise around town. They'll turn you around every time.
Just like your
Hopefully
guns.
give you a warning.
Don't take your
Yes.
bulls to town.
Yep.
Right. Livestock are not meant to be in the passenger seat
Of your best friend's ride. Trying to get
Yes.
at me.
Trying to holler at me.
That's right.
So, also don't go chasing waterfalls.
No waterfalls. No waterfalls. On that great PSA of bulls, we ain't want no bulls and chasing waterfalls. I think make sure that you're checking out our website at whyimangry.com. Grab some merch. It's real. And get out there. Check out our podcasts and all that fun stuff.
Don't feed Krispy Kremes to the bears.
Don't allow don't leave your doors open. Don't make it your fault that the bears ate the Krispy Kremes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Remember to follow, like, and share the Why I'm Angry podcast across all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcasts. The Why I'm Angry podcast ends now.